bitches. What's going on? This is the Juice Man 3941. This is episode 57. It is a Watchwords episode. I haven't done a Watchwords in a while. The Watchwords today's brought to you by the letter S, or better yet, the word speculation. And if you're going to join me, please pull up a table, grab a beer if you're able. And that's what I'm doing right now, beer in the throat. Rick, how you doing today? Woo! You're looking at Ric Flair. That's right. I can kiss any woman in the arena and make her cry. Woo! Beer to the road. That's what I'm talking about. Back to you. Hey, thanks, Rick, for stopping by. I think we're going to have some other guests later on. And as always, playing this Evolve in the background. I like to do that. Here's the deal with Watchwords. On my old blog, I did a lot of Watchwords. I hadn't done one in a while, and this one is entitled Speculation. And what is speculation? If you look up the word, for example, and you look up the word speculation, and I'm just going to do this real fast on my handy-dandy smartphone, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and just to kind of like tell you exactly what it means. Speculation means, it's a noun, the forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence. And that's what speculation actually stands for, the forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence. You know, speculation is something that happens a lot amongst us in the gaming community. It also happens a lot in the magazines that we read, Game Informer, and on other websites like Kotaku and Destructoid and IGN. There's a lot of speculation towards either a game coming out or a game that's coming out or a game company. The forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence, ladies and gentlemen, in YouTube land. Speculation. A good example of speculation going on is with No Man's Sky. There's a lot of speculation. People saying basically, I think the game is going to be this way. This is what I'm seeing thus far. But it's a theory. And you don't really know that because you have not played it. And no matter how many YouTube videos you've watched, you can formulate, hey, yes, I fly around, and yes, I land on planets, and yes, I do this. But we haven't seen anybody shoot a gun. We haven't seen like any landing on a starbase or there are NPCs walking around. We've seen none of that. But we're speculating that that's how the game's going to be, but that's not necessarily true. The forming of a theory conjecture without firm evidence. Another theory that's been thrown out there a lot is review scores being buffered because a game company decides to pay up a ton of money towards advertisement. Now, I think, in the grand scheme of things, that I think this is an implied thing where, hey, we're going to put a bunch of advertising on your website, and so I think perhaps the owners, the shareholders of the website, or the managers that run the reviewers, they might say, hey, you know what, give it a decent go. But I don't have any proof of that. So that's speculation on my part, and I think it's speculation on a lot of people's part. Sometimes in the, you know, an L.J. Simpson metaphor, if the glove doesn't fit, quit. If the glove don't fit, you gotta fucking quit. And the way I see it is like, no, we don't. You're a fucking murderer, and we all fucking know it. Anyway, that's a general consensus. But again, speculation in the gaming industry is can be a bad thing, because if you're speculating on how some game that's about ready to come out in the next month or so is going to be, and it doesn't, you could set yourself up for disappointment. Now, I speculated recently on the Technomancer because I watched enough of it to go like, you know, I don't know if the game's going to be good, but I bet you it's going to be good. I took a gamble and it ended up being great, except for those glitches and stuff I was talking about in my last video. Evolve's another game that when I saw coming out, I speculated on, wondering how the game was going to be. It turned out to be different than what I thought it was going to be, but I did ultimately enjoy it, and still enjoy it. It's in my top 10. And the thing is about speculation and why it can be bad in the gaming industry, because it can affect not just the games, it can affect the people working in the industry, people speculating on, like, why did EA do this, or Ubisoft did that, why did DICE do this, why did Turtle Rock Studios do this, what's up with this DLC. Capcom is horribly, again, we speculate a lot of that. Recently, with the Hideo Kojima Konami split, everyone made such a big deal about it, and no one really knows exactly why they split. I don't know if Konami was like, hey, it could have, and I'd almost put money on it, not trying to speculate, that it came down to money. Hideo Kojima probably thinks he is the greatest gift to gaming, and that he is the best thing has ever happened to the gaming world, because of his Metal Gear series, which is all the fuck he's ever done. And unless you got a pedigree of, like, a couple hundred games in different genres, you're not. Not to say that some of those games are bad, I'm just saying. And it probably came down to money. He probably wanted way more money. He probably was like, I am Hideo Kojima, and I am the shit, so you're going to give me, $40 million a year. And Konami was like, go fuck yourself. You're not that good. And they're making another Metal Gear without him, and because they've already done it so many times, you're probably not going to notice any fucking thing different with Hideo Kojima being gone. Right? Of course, Hideo Kojima fanboys that suck his fucking Asian cock is going to be like, oh, well, because he didn't help work on the game, this game sucks, even though it will probably be no different than what you've already been playing. And I don't mean Asian in a derogatory term, okay? I love my Asian brothers. And I love my Asian girls. But anyway, the thing is speculation is when you form that theory or conjecture and you have no evidence to the contrary. And sometimes this happens too in console wars, where people speculate what a console is going to do or not do, right? People speculate it all the time. There's this thing about the PlayStation Neo, Zeo, whatever, with the 4K stuff. There's been talk about the Xbox One, not the Xbox One, the Xbox Scorpio, talking about how it's really just going to be a 4K upgrade. Review Tech USA talked about it. 1316 Killer talked about it. I talked a little bit about that before, and it's like there's going to be really nothing different. It's not going to be that big of a leap and all this other stuff, which that's not really true. Xbox, there is a video out on YouTube where they talk about, we wanted to make a system that the game developers were telling us we want to have no limitations. And they talk about, it's got like 3 or 4 teraflops and all this stuff, and it's a lot of technical stuff, and it sounds a hell of a lot better than the Xbox One. And although I will say this much, and I don't think this is speculation, developers are going to see the Scorpio and they're going to want to more or less develop for that and not spend resources on the Xbox One. And I'd almost put money on it. I'd almost put 2 bottles of scotch on it that developers are going to be like, well, we'll finish up the games we were working on Xbox One, but we're going to do mostly Scorpio, because they do this all the time. History is an excellent teacher. Whenever a new console is released, and the Xbox One has been out 2 years, 3 years now, so it's almost in that time frame and whatnot. They're shortening the console life cycle. I think the 360 and PS3 had such a long life cycle because because it was such a good system. There was still a lot of people doing things on those systems that was great. If you're just joining the GEPs, this is episode 57. This is Watchwords. It's called speculation. Speculation, the definition, is the forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence. People do it all the time. In the gaming industry, it can be detrimental. It can be detrimental to your purchases. You speculate a game's going to be great, and it's not, then you feel disappointed. Or you speculate a company is doing this with the game, and they're not. Or the company speculate where they think the market's going to go, or how they feel like people are going to buy, and it's wrong. Speculation sometimes can have positive effects, But a lot of times there is a negativity around it. We speculate a lot of things in the gaming industry that we're not really sure of. And like I said, here's a little bit of beer in the throat. Steve, what's going on?
If you're just joining me, this is Steve, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'm here drinking beer here on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, simulcast with the Gaming Roundtable. What the hell? How you doing? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Steve. I'm doing real good. I appreciate you stopping by. I didn't know you were a gamer.
Of course I'm a gamer. You know how many games I have? What? I have 1 game. I have 2 games. Hell, I have a whole bunch of games with all kinds of whip-ass on it. I'm broadcasting live from the WWE Network 999. How's that for you? Here on the Gaming Roundtable.
Well, Steve, I'm trying to do my show. I do appreciate you promoting your show, though. I love the Stone Cold Steve podcast on the network. It's been real informative.
Well, we'll tell you right now, I'm about ready to drink this beer. I might have another one. I might have 2 beers. What? I might have 3 beers. What?
I probably have 2-3 beers myself. Man, that's good. That's good beer.
If you're just joining, you're here at the Gaming Roundtable. I'm going to leave Juice Man at it. And don't forget to watch the Stone Cold podcast. Hey, give me a hell yeah. Back to you.
Thanks, Steve. Steve Austin, ladies and gentlemen, coming by to do a little promotion on the show. Anyway, speculation. And that's what we're talking about. Why I call it a watchwords is we got to be careful about what we come up with if we form some theory conjecture and have no evidence to contrary. There's a lot of YouTube gamers out there and a lot of YouTube channels that do this. They speculate a lot and they throw it out there and they throw all the stuff out there. They do a bunch of videos, and the next thing you know, these videos are not. They might be wrong. And then they got to come back out, and they got to defend themselves, or they got to say, "Oh, maybe I got my information from this." You got to be careful about speculation. Kotaku.com is very, very bad about this. They speculate all the fucking time. Their site is not that great of a site. They have been wrong many times on their stories. They have actually reported information that was not 100% true because they were generally speculating. They're not doing the steps it takes to get the real story. And this is where I come into play because I am not a journalist at all. And I try not to speculate on the comings and goings of games anymore. I think I did on consoles and things a number of years ago, but now I realize, you just can't do that. Sometimes the best thing for you to do is watch some videos, hey, that looks like a game I want to buy, and just go buy it. There's no sense in sitting there trying to wait and figure out, is it going to be this? Hey, this is how the game's going to be. This is what I've seen. This is what I've heard. If you don't have that evidence to back it up, then you really shouldn't talk like that. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Now, not necessarily my subscribers, right? But not necessarily the videos I subscribe to. Not necessarily them. But they've all done it sometimes to a certain degree too, and I think I have maybe. And when you speculate, like I said, it's almost like assuming in a way, and that makes an ass out of you and me, and I think that's something that you have to be careful with when you are making YouTube videos, and why it's a watchwords. Acceptance is a watchword, respect's a watchword, and I think speculation is definitely a watchword. If you don't have any evidence to back up your story, or you don't have any firm confirmation on a game release date, or a company statement they made, or a DLC practice, if you're just saying, hey, they're doing this for this reason, if you're saying they're just doing it to get money, if you don't have any real proof, even though it may look like that, that may not necessarily be true. DLC, I think, is developed around the same time a game is. I think the teams are there's a small team that works on that during the production process, but I don't know that for sure. So again, I can't speculate. And again, it's just all a matter of how you see it, and I think it's important to address that word, because we really shouldn't speculate on the comings and goings of a game company. You know why? Because we're not there. We're not at the board, table sitting there hashing out ideas. We're not at the cubicles working on the game. We've never met any of the people that are involved. So, but we like to feel like that our YouTube videos, we like to feel like, because we're gamers, we're part of we're part of that process, but we're really not, folks. We're not. I don't know. I had no input on any game. Even when I give feedback on betas, that's not really, if they don't put people's feedback in the game, I'm looking at you, Bungie, you assholes at Destiny. Get on the forums and tell us what we should improve, and you didn't fucking do anything anybody asked you to do. Thanks a lot, assholes. Don't get me wrong, played Destiny for 2 years straight. I'm just saying. And I think that is something that why we speculate a lot, is because we want to have that voice, but sometimes we have to be careful. And if we don't have any evidence to back it up, if we don't know a company's doing this, but we state on our site, I know for a fact this is what they're doing. Well, okay, well, present your facts. Where did you get your information? If you're just purely speculating, then that's not good, because we, at the end of the day, as YouTube channels, whether you have 6 or 7 subscribers, or 5 like I do, or you have 10,000 subscribers, or even 1 million subscribers, you are influential to those people. And that's why that's important not to speculate, because you ultimately can sway people from buying a game or supporting a particular company or supporting a particular practice in the gaming industry. That's why speculation is a watchwords. Like I said, it's going to be a short video tonight. I do appreciate you joining me on this episode of the Gaming Roundtable. I am the Juice Man 3941. I'll be back with episode 58 before you know it. And as always, my fellow gamers, good fucking gaming.